Hey guys, Sean here and welcome to the F1 Word. Now, there are a few teams who still haven't confirmed their driver lineups for next season. They are Williams, Toro Rosso, Red Bull and Alfa Romeo. I mean, you could throw Ferrari in there because although both drivers are contracted for next season and all the noises seem to be that they will stay, there hasn't been any official word. But also, Haas. And there has been a lot of talk lately about who could be filling those seats. Kevin Magnussen is likely to keep his, and so that begs the question, who will be his teammate? It looks on the face of it as if there are the two options. So there is their current driver, Romain Grosjean, or Nico Hulkenberg, who of course, following Renault's appointment of Esteban Ocon for 2020, has found himself in the market and on a hunt for a drive. The team have also said that they won't be looking at youth, so that rules out the likes of Fittipaldi. And the rumours that were swirling around about Pascal Wehrlein have gone very quiet lately. So again, it looks as though it's Grosjean versus Hulkenberg. From the outside looking in, it seems like a pretty straightforward choice. Maybe that's just me. Grosjean has not been great this year. I mean, to be fair, I do agree with those who say that his season has not been maybe as bad as has been made out. And in his defence, I guess, he has suffered a fair bit of bad luck. The thing is though, as I've said so many times over the last few months, when the luck has been on his side, he has more often than not failed to deliver. That is one of the things that K-Mag has. When the car is capable of picking up points, he tends to pick up points. Grosjean hasn't been doing that. And I should say also at this point, and it is in defence of both of their current drivers, the 2019 Haas has been shocking on a Sunday. So I guess I should probably cut them a little bit of slack. But I can't cut Romain Grosjean all that much slack. On Hulkenberg, he's experienced and is generally very consistent within that midfield, and so I think could be a great catch for the team. He's another one of those drivers that is very good at picking up the points when the car is in a position to do so. So on paper, it's got to be Nico all the way, surely. Well, you'd think that, especially when you consider the fact that Magnussen has said he would be cool with Hulkenberg as a teammate, Nico has said that he would have no problem working with K-Mag, and Gunther Steiner has said that he doesn't see it as an issue. It just all seems pretty obvious. Yet, flipping that around, Grosjean has said that he's confident of keeping hold of that seat for 2020, and even Steiner has spoken about how that decision is not as straightforward as it may appear. He told Autosport, and I will quote him, "If it was a clear decision, it would be easy to make. We would agree immediately. We are not sure what is the best. What we've got now is not bad, but can we make it better? How big is the risk that we want to make it better and it doesn't go in the right direction? We know Romain pretty well, and I can see what Hulkenberg has done, so it's more like what is fitting better in the bigger scheme of the team going forward than the race-by-race result." He did also add that the driver market not being as hectic this year means there is no rush for them to make a decision. I do wonder if Steiner and indeed Gene Haas are looking at stability whilst they struggle to get to grips with their car issues. Is it better for them to focus on sorting that car out for 2020 and leaving the lineup as it is, rather than making too many changes all at once? Then again, there may be some of you pointing out that it could be the perfect time to make the change. I suppose as well there are a few drivers out of contract at the end of next season, so perhaps they are considering sticking for now and then picking someone else up at the end of 2020. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud really. At the end of the day, they've got two seats and could always bring someone in to replace K-Mag if he didn't deliver and Hulkenberg did. That was the other thing on Nico. He does tend to complain a lot, or at least that's how it feels this season. Not that I blame him, by the way. I can only imagine how frustrating it must be to drive a car as inconsistent as that Renault has been in 2019. But my point is, do Haas really need that? Again, going back to that previous point, they've got to get this car sorted out, and surely the last thing they need is a driver spouting to the press about how awful it is. Not that that stopped K-Mag at times this season. By the way, whilst I'm talking about Hulkenberg and his complaints, there was a post on the F1 subreddit which claimed that Alain Prost has said that the team didn't re-sign the German because of his moaning, well, his pessimism anyway. However, that turned out to be a load of rubbish, best way to put it, and has since been firmly denied. Not before it was picked up by a number of news sites though. But anyway, moving on, I've wandered off a little bit, but it is worth clearing that up. Back to it then, if I were in the position of Gene Haas and Gunther Steiner and it really is just between the two drivers, I would take Hulkenberg all day long. He would bring just as much experience as Grosjean, so they're not losing out on anything on that front. And although he doesn't know the team as well as Romain, I mean, he's not going to, Romain's been there for a very long time, and it could well turn out that stability is of huge importance to Steiner. But for me at least, Hulkenberg is the better driver and so therefore is the better option. However, there's always a however. If I were in their position, I would actually hang on a bit before making any decision. I would almost sit back and wait for Red Bull to make their call on their seats. If they stick with Alex Albon, which if he continues to perform how he did in Spa and Monza, I think they will, then Daniel Kvyat could be a serious option for Haas. Look, I don't know his whole contract situation. It may well be that Toro Rosso have an option on him for next year and so he may not be able to leave. But he has worked with that Ferrari power unit, okay in the simulator, but it's still experience, and has driven seriously well this year, proving a lot of his doubters wrong. Throw into that mix the fact he's still only 25, and I think he would be a great pick for Haas and a driver to really focus on for the longer term. Hey, perhaps that's just me, but I think they should snap him up if he does become available. A lot of ifs in there, of course, but at least keep an eye on that situation before tying yourself to drivers. Once again, though, if it is just between Rogro and the Hulk, I can't believe I just said that. That's terrible. Come on, Sean. But if it is between those two, I would absolutely go with Hulkenberg. This is F1, though, and there could yet be a curveball. Bear in mind that Haas have just severed ties with their title sponsor. By the way, a decision that I think is spot on. The sooner Rich Energy are out of the way, the better. But anyway, that seat could yet go to the highest bidder. And yes, I know Gene Haas has the cash. That sounds like a really cheesy game show catchphrase. But regardless of his financial situation, it is surely unlikely he will sniff at more money, especially with big rule changes just on the horizon. That is it for this video then, but what do you think about that second seat at Haas? In the top right of the screen there is once again a poll for you to vote on. Will it be Hulkenberg? Will it be Grosjean? Or do you think there could yet be a surprise? As well as voting in the poll, you can also let me know your thoughts on it all down in the comment section. Now, I will be back soon with more content as ever, but in the meantime, don't forget that you can of course follow me over on social media and all of the links you need for that are in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.